This is Agronomy Moment. I'm Wendell Cohen.
What is going on here?
David.
Hey.
What's up, Ringer?
How are you?
Good.
Good to
Well,
see
it's
you
good
both.
to see ya.
Thanks for joining us here.
Is this what I think this is?
It is.
Are you recording a podcast?
Recording? And you are live. I mean, you're going down.
Uh-oh. So like the camera's picking up on everything I'm saying?
is.
Yep.
I'm going to have to be very careful
Yeah,
with what I'm about to
you
say.
interrupt at exactly the right time or wrong, depending on how you look at it.
Man, sorry to interrupt. That was not my intention. But
Yeah, but
if
you
they're
know,
wasting your time, their time on your podcast,
yes.
shouldn't they waste their time on mine?
Hey, what do you
Oh
got?
yeah.
Why
What do you
not?
got?
Well, that's next
Across the Acres with Beck's Hybrids. It is a fantastic opportunity for you to learn more about Beck's Hybrids. Not only our customers, our employees, our dealers, who and what we are, our culture, and the unique things that we bring to the table. So I invite you on the
Yes.
podcast provider of your choice to follow along with Across the Acres, a Beck's Hybrids podcast.
And it's a lot of fun. You do fun stuff on there, right?
Well, thank you. I
Yes.
think we do. Yeah.
Yep.
We even interviewed Bethany Gremmel here back in January.
Yep.
And Tim Newcomb the month before that. So we have famous people on our podcast.
Yes.
The original episode was Corey Beck. And hopefully we'll get Scott one of these times. But,
Yep.
Well, shoot, maybe we should have Wendell Cohen.
Celena.
Oh, we should have Celena.
Nobody wants to listen
Have
to me.
interesting people.
Have
on there.
interesting people?
I'm the agronomy base type of stuff, so it's just saying.
I think he's pretty interesting, don't you?
Well, yeah.
Well, only because of the people.
That's right.
Yes.
We'll get you
Yes.
next time.
Yes. Okay.
Well, hey, I'm interrupting. Sorry. You guys enjoy.
Yes.
Have a great rest of your day. And again, catch out Across the Acres on
Across
a
the
podcast
Acres.
provider of your choice.
Across the Acres. It's a Beck's podcast. You can find it anywhere you find your podcasts.
Absolutely. Good to see you, my
Thank
friend.
you, sir.
Behave.
See ya.
Selena,
Good to
thank
see you
you.
again.
Good to see you.
See ya. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Agronomy Moment. This is the PFR proven pre-plant, but on soybeans.
Soybean.
I say corn, soy in there, but it's not. It's soybeans. So
Okay.
return on investment, PFR proven pre-plant products and practices that you can use, that you can do on your planter, and we will dive right into this.
Dive right in it.
Let's talk about products first of all. Some things that are somewhat particular to soybeans. Some of these probably relate to corn, but this is set up a little differently. The first one I'm going to lead with is Terramax Dry.
Yeah.
That's the
The
inoculant.
inoculant.
That does not translate to do something for corn, but however, on this particular product, however, Beck's is seeing a positive ROI. And
Yeah,
it's
and
proven,
I believe
right?
all of these on this slide
Yes, yes.
are the acres to pay off for soybeans.
Except for this one and this one.
Okay.
We have a dollar amount per acre of ROI.
Okay. The seed treatment though is accurate to soybeans. That is a
Yes.
13-year multi-location
Yes.
Return on investment.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is right.
That with our that's our Escalade seed treatment
Yes.
compared to untreated. Yeah.
And so on Terramax Dry is an inoculant that you can add dry. In this case, it's a dry product. You can add it, and there's been about a $10.90 return in that respect. Just going to throw that out there. And then seed treatment, 13 years.
Yep.
Average.
Multi-location.
$46.
Yep.
Multi-location, $46 an acre net return
Mm-hmm.
on investment,
Yeah.
not what gross return.
Yep. Yeah, that's
Net.
huge.
And so that, with $15 beans right now, that's 3 bushel.
Yeah.
But the 13 years with average prices, we're looking probably more like at 11 maybe.
Right.
And so that's more like 4,
Mm-hmm.
5, but point being 3 to 4 bushel.
What,
um,
46 times whatever.
3 to 4 bushels in your pocket.
Yep. Absolutely.
Not
No, yeah. Not you
yeah,
don't have
not-
to.
you don't have to give any of those back to
No,
anybody.
Those are
in
the
your
benefit.
pocket.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the return.
1,000 acres. What's the math on 46 times 1,000? 4,600? 46,000.
46,000.
46,000.
$46 times
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, give you 46,000.
Some people that could almost live on that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, that's true.
that's if that's your living.
Yeah.
Closing wills, talk about that just a little bit and just kind of go down through the list, actually?
Yeah, so the closing wheels, 111 acres, pay off on the soybean crop. The closing system, 762. We got row cleaners there at 800. The hydraulic downforce, which we really like to talk about, just the how the uniformity of the downforce as you change soil types and things like that, and is really important in today's fields when we get the right conditions to maximize that return on with that downforce. We got disc openers there, 126 acres, and then Wendell's bread and butter. He really likes to talk about the high speed
Yep.
and how fast can we plant our corn and soybeans. So,
Yep.
And then the uniformity as far as the singulation, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Yes, like the uniformity, and we're going to dive into that because we're going to show a picture of a
Oh,
disc.
that's right. Yeah, that's in here.
On that. So we're going to talk about uniformity a little later. It is a PFR proven as well of 1 bushel per acre, and it is a very low cost investment.
Yeah, that's something that I'm just like, yeah, that's cool because it doesn't cost very much.
Yes.
And,
yep.
And with the singulation we're doing with corn,
yep.
Yep. It's kind of cool.
Yep. And I won't talk about high speed too much here because we did it.
Listen to his corn one. He goes on his deal on high speed there.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk any at all about it then. Let's move on. This here's the one I wanted to talk about, the disc, the soybean disc. This is a singulated disc. It is a very bright color, and we actually just got them in. By the way, if you're near Nevada, Missouri, and you do business with Record Harvest, we bought them through them.
Oh.
And they just got it in for us and brought it in, and it's a bright color, and you won't be any problem deciding which one you're going to go to. So talk a little bit about it. Well, first I'm just going to talk about the singulation part.
Yeah, go for it.
We're hoping to do that this year. That's the reason we bought them, of course. Mm-hmm. And we did it for 32 rows, and our hope is to throw them in. And I haven't decided yet if we're actually going to be able to even test it or not, because I don't know about switching. But hopefully we might. We might do some things, some fun things with that. I'm hoping anyway, with singulation versus non, and just see what happens in Southwest Missouri.
Yeah, that'd be a really cool agronomy plot, Wendell. Yeah. Maybe that's an idea.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hate to promise this and overpromise. I'd rather maybe come back. But I do think we're going to get some interesting things, some feedback on what we thought and what we felt we seen, and if we were actually able to singulate it with the monitor. Because I'm not positive on that yet.
Yep.
Whether the display, the one we have, actually does that. I think Climate's Precision, their 2020 would. But anyway, let's talk about some proven practices in general, more than just even singulation.
Yep. So like to kind of start there with the planting date on the slide. I think planting date is the first and first bullet point there. Yep. And, we like to think that, again, that April time frame, May time frame, is going to be our best return for planting date, and the reason why is because we're going to maximize our amount of sunlight that the soybean crop is going to get. We're typically going to have quicker canopy coverage, because we're dealing with more probably ideal conditions than we are late. The earlier is going to, not only with the sunlight, but it's going to lead to additional nodes and flowering, which nodes are everything. Nodes is bushels per acre. I mean, that is what we really want to key in on is how many nodes can we get out there per acre, because that's really the thing that we want. We really want those nodes, and taking advantage of more sunlight, like I said, because once we get past summer solstice, that path of the sun to get to those beans is just it's longer, and we don't have the amount of opportunities that we do with those earlier beans. But then again, if we've got that later planted, and that's kind of, do we talk about that? I think we talk about that later. Talk about that later. Do we talk about that here? Planting rate? We'll probably talk about that later.
Talk about rate. Yeah, maybe so. Talk about the conditions. They're not as critical as corn.
Yeah, probably not quite as critical as corn. Soybeans are a really good compensator, but again, you don't want to just
mud them in.
or
which I like to call it the ball and drop test. You take a handful of soil, and if you give it a toss and it crumbles, good to go. Corn, I'm probably a little more picky, but soybeans, as long as you're doing a good job of your seed bed and everything. But let's just talk about depth again.
Yeah, so depth soybeans, really want to target that 1.5 inches. And again, getting proper planting depth is going to help with your more consistent moisture, more consistent temperature.
Yes.
To better regulate and
your nitrogen fixation is increased because you actually they've shown that if you increase the depth of your soybean, right, where that cotyledon's arch, right, in that little crook there later, right in that zone is where your maximum or your most nitrogen fixing nodules are. Right.
Well, and two, whenever we get an 1.5 inches deep, we're allowing that soybean to set a good root system.
Ah, yes.
So if we do have a rain and we do have a little bit of crust, we're setting the soybean up, not saying that it's going to be 100% every time, but we're actually setting the soybean up to be more successful to push through
emerge
because we've got a good root system.
Yep.
So agronomically, really, really important for those seedlings.
Yep. So let's move on to our next one. More practices here. Talk about rate and date.
Here we go. Here's the rate and date. So we kind of hit on date a little earlier, so I won't kind of go into that. But on the screen, you can see the right chart on the lower side is going to compare your April to May planting compared to your mid-May to your June planting, your later planting. So that's going to show your economic optimum seeding rate with your planting date there with 15 inches. But to hit on the planting rate more specifically, in our PFR data, we're seeing the 100,000. Now that's not probably going to be a recommended unless it's maybe a really good forgiving soil and it's got that capability with a lower seeding rate to maximize nodes per acre out there. But when we start to get into tough conditions, late conditions like a double crop or even a June, when we get to June, we need to be upping our population. We need more plants out there. Double crop, July, whatever time frame that kind of looks like, we need to be bumping that. Specifically in our July and our double crop time frame, 175 to 200,000 is probably going to be still where we want to stick. We need as many opportunities out there for those plants to come up because we need as many nodes. Again, we go back to the node conversation and comparing those pictures on the left there, that drives home the node conversation where you can see, and I get it, it's kind of one extreme to the next, but it makes a point. You're comparing 175,000 population to a 75,000 population, and you're 25 more nodes on the lower population. I mean, that is huge. Just more branches out there. That agronomically, just a much better plant, better stem diameter. More branches, just better standability. I mean, the agronomics are just huge.
And I would agree with that. The bottom line takeaway I feel in this is is if you've been at higher rates, one can reduce them early and actually have a better result. Be careful what you plant appropriately for the condition and the day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we talk about that a little bit later on with the weather. So
sure. Studies to know. Let's talk about power and the residual program.
Just to kind of touch on this. Not going to spend a whole lot of time. Put multiple sites of action out there. Set yourself up for success for controlling your weed or your seed bed for those weeds. And a lot of times, and we're going to be targeting water hemp. But in the example in this slide, that's actually what their target control is, what they're wanting to control. So you can see just by comparing your 3-to-1 what we gain there, as far as even from your 2 to 3, just as far as your percentage controlled, it's huge. But point being is that we want multiple effective sites. So even though there might be a product that it's got multiple sites or modes of action, it might not be the best thing to target what you've got going on in your field compared to maybe what I've got going on in my field. So your target weeds, go after them with those effective sites and modes, and that will be better than one.
Yes, and there's the other benefits too when it comes to, like, they're talking visual control, and what 97% looks like control to 89%, even as it relates to the plants, like your crops experience.
Like
the stress hormones that it releases by seeing that, and the yield impact on that goes beyond more than what we thought. I say we, I'm talking about those experts used to feel up until recent years. There's a more negative effect than just the moisture and just the nutrition loss.
Yeah, and kind of the punch back to the planting date, those earlier beans able to canopy quicker, so that far red light's not penetrating to trigger the growth of, for in this example, a water hemp seedling.
So then it reduces your cost, not only reduces your risk of weed issues, as well as lower cost of herbicide, because you don't have as many chances of rescue.
And you're helping yourself down the road. It's not just a benefit now, it's helping down the road, because the best weed to control is the weed that never emerged.
Right.
So just a lot of things to think about, and just choose multiple actions there.
What about tire pressure? This is an interesting topic.
Yeah, so the tire pressure is a new study we did in our PFR for 2022. So if you don't have a book, or if you didn't have an opportunity to join in on a PFR Insight meeting, I really encourage you to go find a book or go to our website and look them up, because the tire pressure study is actually really kind of fascinating.
Yes.
I didn't, we say, like, well, how about some bushels in your pocket for not spending any money?
Right.
It's going to take you maybe a few minutes to deflate your tires, but that's in our studies are showing that it's bringing a return for, and not, you don't have to invest in the however many thousands of dollars system. Put it to a safe road pressure and take it down to that, or try it.
Don't inflate it at the manufacturer's maximum pressure. If your tire will allow 12, go 12. That's huge, or 18 or whatever you're at.
Yeah, spreading out that footprint over acres is huge, and even more so. And you think about the 15 inches, like a soybean crop, typically. The amount of return that it brought to a 15-inch, I think at 12 psi, it was around 4 bushel. I can't remember right, but we can reference the book for that. But I thought that was
phenomenal.
huge.
It's phenomenal for no cost, no investment. And then you think about fuel efficiency.
Yeah,
there's the potential for a more fuel efficient engine,
reducing slippage and improving fuel efficiency. I mean, that's just easy money in your pocket. In my mind is at what is diesel, $4 for something, approximately $4. Taking that, whatever you can gain as far as your fuel efficiency, that's just easy money in your pocket.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the exceptions. We talked about planting in April, June, late season impacts. Maybe I'll take this one.
Yeah, go for it.
Just understanding harvest date differences. Sometimes I've heard, if you plant April the 10th and you plant a month later in June, then my bean harvest will run into my corn, and not necessarily so. There will be some differences, but we're only talking like a 7 to 10 day difference at harvest time. However, in that very short window, I just wanted to throw that out, that there is a rainfall timing thing that could happen with soybeans getting some yield from late rains. Those late rains do affect some yield. And there is a potential that if you plant in early April, there is a possibility with the full season being that it might finish before the other late season was in June. However, just want to throw that out there so you're aware of the whole picture.
Yeah, and it might not be, like, to that point, it's probably not going to be stacking on as many nodes if it was late as if it was early. So your yield potential isn't as good But like you said, to
Yeah.
fill out those later season beats, you might see a little bit of difference there.
This last year, the early season definitely led the charge in our area, and I'm talking a 4.8 time, maturity type, early versus late. The early ones definitely out yielded the late, but we didn't get rain through the whole period of time. So that definitely the early season was building more yield. Let's talk. We already talked about population rates some, but I think it's the early and late. But I think we should talk a little bit about weather rates. That's what I call them.
So you kind of hit on that weather thing with the rains. If we're out there planting and maybe we are looking at the weather, trying to either predict it or see what's coming, and we see that we're going to get dumped on, but we got to get our soybeans planted. That might be a situation where you probably want to look at bumping your rate a little bit.
You might look at a really good soil where you historically would like to lower them a little bit, like maybe you've been at a 120, because I'll be safe with that, and a really good fertile soil with high fast emergence. But wet weather can change that fertile soil to be in a very wet sponge, and so bumping those rates, sometimes we just don't. We kind of have to throw the population message aside a bit in exceptional conditions. I don't like to do that too much because of the reasons why, but
just there's exceptions to everything, and we could go on for days and days.
Call your advisor. Call the person, your agronomist, your seed guy, talk to him. Wrapping up, put our boots back on. We talked about last time in the corn one, we did talk about Clayton Stufflebeam's video. You can go and reference to that one. Otherwise, you can also click this link for the planter prep article, as well as click the QR code.
And one big thing
to snap it.
I don't think we talked about last time was dig behind your planter, and that's one really cool thing I think that Clayton points out is when we put those boots back on, let's go dig behind our planter, see what's going on.
I think that that could almost be a New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Dig behind your planter. Get out of the seat.
Yep.
Set the coat down and go dig. Find your seed. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
joining.
Good
to be here again.
And thank you to everyone that helped make this possible. Beck's Hybrids Practical Farm Research plays a huge part in many of our podcasts, videos. And so I want to thank you everyone for watching today.
Yep.
See ya.
See ya.
Everyone, thank you for joining us today on Agronomy Moment, a Top Ag Services production. If you want alerts on what we are finding in the field, go to topagservices.com/signups to receive alerts, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's our goal to bring you the most recent and advanced information possible. If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to reach out to us anytime. We also ask you that you give us a like and follow our channel wherever you listen to your podcasts or watch these videos. This ultimately helps us reach more people like you.
Hello?
Hey, this has been Wendell Cohen, your show host. Thank you to all who made this show possible. This show is over. See ya.